Welcome to First and Goal, where everything is made up and the points don't matter. Get ready for the latest and hottest topics in the SML. Let's get started. Here's your host, Mad Bomber.
Welcome to this week's episode of First and Goal. This week we've got Prime, 16-time champ, sketchy internet. And then we've got NYT making his first appearance on First and Goal. And then Graham's coming in for his second appearance. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Doing well.
All right. So first topic, we're going to jump right into it. And the topic is going to be, is speed everything? And if it's not, what other attributes do you look for? Grams, let's start with you on this one.
Man, I was actually hoping you'd start with Prime because I did a little bit of research on this one. And I tried to trade Prime CeeDee Lamb, who's 93 overall, for G.J. Metcalf, who is 88 overall. And CeeDee Lamb had better attributes every single category. He's 3 years younger, and Prime kind of laughed it off and said, no dice. Now, I didn't get disheartened there. I was like, okay, I've got another opportunity. So I reached out to ZZ and I said, hey, McCole Hardman, he's only 85 overall, and I got CeeDee Lamb, he's 93. He's, again, younger. And, I got laughed at again. So I'm going to go with it. Wide receiver, at least. Speed is really the only thing that matters, which kind of sucks because I've got a lot of good receivers and other attributes. But I think at positions like corner, I've started to find out that speed is not all that matters, and that's why my defense has been completely trashy, because I've got very fast corners and safeties, but they've got no zone coverage. I've made them all man cover guys, and man coverage sucks. So my secondary is pretty bad.
All right. Prime, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that speed, like Graham said, for different positions, obviously, I mean, common sense says it matters more. Receiver, running back is another one where you had PJ Wiley, I think was your running back you took last year in the early on, or he was your starter at least for a while. Ended up becoming a superstar. 88 speed, I think his change of direction was kind of trash. So speed and change of direction are kind of go hand in hand. And then and even though he's a superstar dev guy, you were still trying to get a running back in the first round. Yep. So to me, that says speed is definitely huge for running back, for wide receiver. Cornerback, I believe it or not, I run a lot of cover 2. I run a lot of cover 3. And with that, I don't think speed matters that much for cornerback as long as it's not like 86 or 85 speed. It depends on the position, but defense, I'd rather have high change of direction, honestly.
All right. NYT, what do you think?
I'm going to agree with both of them. Speed is definitely the top attribute in Madden. And I'll give you one example of why. How about ZZ? ZZ doesn't win games. All of a sudden, he's got nothing but speed on his team, and he's winning 6-7 games in a season. So that right there tells you speed is number one.
It also helps if you have a quarterback that can throw it.
Depending those guys that ZZ has.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
obviously.
Yeah.
So, I agree. Speed is pretty much the top one. I'll look at guys in the draft, and if they're not top 10 in their position at speed, I won't even try to take them. I'll just let them go to other teams.
Yeah, I think the speed can definitely make up for a lack of ratings in other spots. So topic number 2. This is the first season where we've started the new play limits and the cooldown. What are your early thoughts on that? Prime, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it's a good step in the right direction. I believe, and don't quote me on this, but my first dabble into the next generation of Madden from PS2 to Xbox and all that was the Nintendo Wii. And that was how I got started on Madden seriously. And I'm pretty sure online they had play call limitations on that and play now. So this isn't like a new feature. It's just new for this Madden until they take it away 2 Maddens from now. I think it's a step in the right direction. And I think that it's EA finally listening to us. So I'm having hope that they're only going to add more for us commissioners to adjust the games and all that. So I'm excited for it. I think it's good. And I don't really have anything negative to say about it.
All right, Grams, what do you think?
I like it. I think it could be better. There are certain situations where it probably makes sense to call more frequently than 5. Once in the last 5 plays when you're like in first and goal from the 2, or you're in prevent at the end of a game. situations like that. But honestly, I think all of this is unnecessary. It didn't really affect my play calling much at all. And if we were able to look at what the previous play call was, if that wasn't broken for the last 4 years, then I don't know how necessary this would be, because you'd be able to monitor it yourself and be like, hey, that shithead I just played called the same play 7 times in 1 quarter. Let's do something about this as a league, as opposed to having a strict restriction that's going to fit 90% of the situations, but maybe not the final 10%.
All right, NYT, what do you think about it?
I agree with both of them. They both made valid points with it. What Prime was talking about was fair play rules, which I don't know why EA ever took them out. It would tell you a commissioner can set them, and it'll tell you when you can go for it, when you can't go for it, stuff like that. But the play calling things, again, I don't think it changed the way I play much. The one thing it did against you, Bomber, when I was audibling I was trying to audible on offense, I wound up getting a delay of game because I tried to go to a play that I had just run a couple plays before, not realizing it. So that I don't like that part of it, but all the rest, I like it. It works out.
Yeah, I actually had the same thing happen just today. I must have run an inside zone, and then a couple plays later tried to audible from the same formation, and it did the same thing. It wouldn't let me pick it, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, and I ended up either getting a delay game or it was a false start.
Yes,
yeah.
It was a false start. Yep.
Which
That's
I've noticed a lot more of those false starts coming.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I found interesting about it was it really did allow me to remember what I called earlier in the game too. So I thought that was cool as well. The fact that you have that countdown there, and it kind of shows you like you called this once because we have a 4-play limit, or the case may be.
I will say it has caused people to broaden their defensive formation horizons a little bit, which is a good thing, because a lot of people, it's the nickel, the 3-3-5. A lot of people call that. There's a few dime formations that people call. So it's getting you out of that, to just broaden your horizons, which I think is a good thing, and it helps us be quote unquote more sim.
Yeah, the only thing I noticed too was I'll kind of, as I'm scrolling through to pick my play, I'll look at one and I'll be like, oh, that one only has 2 left, and I kind of change my gameplay or my calling
Save
that
it.
way.
Yeah, you got to save it for later.
Yeah, so it's a little weird, but I don't think it's bad.
I question if that makes you a better player or a worse player. I don't know. That's a good thought.
Yeah, it definitely changes the way I play, and maybe that was the problem today. I don't know. But
I think the only play I've run out of has been man cover 2 out of dime, which I usually give up about 40 yards per play on. So that may actually be helping me.
All right, so topic 3, and we're going to kind of switch gears from gameplay to now the SML league as a whole. For the off season, who are your winners and your losers for the off season? And we'll start with you this time, NYT.
Well, the winner is this too, Dan and Dookie, because those 2 players they got just puts them over the top again, and I fully expect them to be in the Super Bowl again. As for losers, I think I got to go. Everybody expects me to stay Figs here, but I don't think it was Figs. I think it was Hova, because Grams and I both sniped him in free agency, so he lost out on all his big signings. And then I don't think he did anything really spectacular, eye-opening in the draft. So I'm going to say Hova had the worst offseason in the league.
Okay. Prime, what do you think?
Yeah, winners. I'm gonna say one of the winners was actually KJ Slander, because he got his quarterback. He finally got his quarterback, and it's like a superstar X Factor guy. I mean, that guy he's a beast. And KJ has been looking for his quarterback, year in, year out. He's been struggling. He's finally got his guy. It'll allow him to kind of open up his offense a bit. Losers, I mean, I want to point out 2 losers. First of all, Colt 45, no reason to be a loser. You had the cap space and you cut Michael Thomas because you didn't like him. What a stupid thing to do. And then ZZ, you have this 97 overall tight end, and you choose a 75 overall left tackle that you could have signed in preseason week 1 for $2 million, and you cut your tight end for him. What a stupid thing to do. And another loser, obviously, Figs. Anytime you have an X Factor quarterback in their second year, and you don't trade them, you trade them and then you just sign a 49-year-old Tom Brady. What a stupid thing to do. I mean, we're all losers when you have bad decision making like that in the SML.
All right, Grams, what do you think? Winners and losers.
Yeah, so it's funny. The Saints are definitely a loser of the offseason, but they had a fantastic draft.
They had the best draft.
Like, how can you have such a good draft and still be a loser because you cut all of your talent for no reason without trading it? It's mind-boggling, and the fact that we're even talking about that as the biggest loser when we had someone draft an X-factor quarterback and turn around and trade him the next season, like, you just won the lottery, dude, and now you traded your X-factor quarterback. But so for winners, unfortunately, I think there were two winners in my division that are getting a little slept on. Both the Redskins and the Eagles had fantastic drafts. I didn't check to see if they were like what dev they were, but I know that the Redskins got the best tight end in the draft. He's 22-year-old, hidden ability, Brian Fusaro, 84 speed, good attributes all around, and has abilities. I'm not sure if it's superstar X factor. And he got a few other good players in the draft that I know I was targeting. And then the Eagles, it seemed like anytime I had anyone on my draft board, they were taking. They took the best safety in the draft. They got a halfback in the draft with abilities. They had a good wide receiver picked in the draft. I just felt like both of those really nailed. They had a lot of draft picks and they really nailed them. And that's unfortunate for me.
Yeah.
I do want to add on to
that.
That Washington, he did have a good draft, and he also had a good trade for a running back. Mike FML sent him a pretty solid running back there. So that team's going to be very scary this year.
That was actually exactly what I was going to say. Was I think Washington may have had the best move of the offseason getting Aaron Jones, because last season he was really good with Melvin Gordon, and now he's got a significantly better running back. So I think that.
I want to throw an honorable mention. Love too.
Yeah. Paulie, he, for whatever reason, he's like dyslexic and he couldn't play with a left-handed quarterback. So he got his move, he got his franchise guy, and he also doesn't have to pay a quarterback now for another 3 more seasons. So he's going to go like 7 SML seasons building a team without paying franchise type money, which is a pretty good move.
Yeah,
I thought Paulie had a really good draft also off season also. Sorry, Bob.
No, you're good. Yeah, he definitely.
T-Check really did not think that he had a good offseason, so you're probably losing points right now, Prime. But
that was before the Tolbert trade.
Yeah, I think as a whole it was good. I don't know. That seemed like a lot to give up when you had your quarterback of the cycle. But if you can't play with a left-handed quarterback, which really doesn't seem to have been the problem because he had the highest completion rating in the SML, he wasn't really having that much trouble with Tua, but like you said, he doesn't have to pay a quarterback now.
Yeah, so which is good. I mean,
so we'll move on to topic 4, and this one's going to be our bold predictions. So we'll start with you, Graham. What are your bold predictions for this season?
Okay, I'll rattle off a few bold predictions. One, Dallas goes 0-16. I think it's bold, but maybe it's not because they've sucked so far. Another bold prediction, Figs goes maybe 2-14, gets upset at Dobbins and trades him at the end of the year. Another bold prediction, Dolphins still doesn't throw with their new X-Factor quarterback. Yeah, I'll go with those ones.
Okay. All right, Figs. NYT, what do you got for bold predictions?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that actually Figs wins more games than Graham's just said. I think Figs might be on the edge of the playoffs, especially in that weak ass NFC. And Paulie definitely not gonna run with his definitely not gonna throw with his quarterback. He's still gonna run the ball. And I do think that Dookie will, not that this is bold, but I do think Dookie will repeat again as champion.
Okay. And Prime, your bold predictions.
Yeah, I'm going to say that Royce. We're going to see a resurgence of Royce, and here's why.
I'd settle for a reappearance, but
this is a Jacob Eason. If you look at Jacob Eason, his stats last year, they were actually somewhat impressive. Royce beat fast. I also want to make a prediction. Dookie will not make another Super Bowl for the rest of this cycle. I'm not going to say how that's going to happen, but I'm just going to make that prediction. But I think that Dookie's got the addition of Mike Evans didn't make him that much better. I mean, he already had Michael Thomas, excuse me. He wasn't that fast. He's not like signing Mecole Hardman, who I would say, honestly, I'd rather have Hardman over Michael Thomas, who's like 88 speed, honestly. I think that Dookie, it made his team a little bit better, but I don't see him getting past some of those juggernauts in the NFC. So that's my big prediction is Dookie isn't going to be a multi-time Super Bowl champ.
All right, well, that's going to
I'd like to comment on those two predictions. One, Prime, you're wrong. Dookie's going to win the NFC again and the Super Bowl because the NFC is better. And two, NYT's out of his mind. Figs is losing by an average of 15 points a game right now.
He's going to turn it around. He's coming back. Dobbins is going to carry him to the end.
I will say, if you watch that game of Fig against Dan, that game was actually surprisingly very close. I seen some of it, and that game came down to the wire just about.
It was, but if you watched the next game against Royce, that game was not at all close.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's Fig. That's Fig. Yeah. You never know what you're gonna get. He's like a box of chocolates.
All right, so that's gonna do it for tonight, and we're sitting at NYT with 18, Graham's at 20, Prime with 20. But Prime hinting that Dookie may be on the outs will get him a bonus point. And Prime's going to be our winner for tonight.
Let's go!
So, Prime, these 30 seconds.
I'm the winner because I don't have to talk for 45 seconds.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here. 16-time champ. Probably not going to win another one, but it was a good ride. And also, hey, tighten up or going down, baby, because Colts are getting Aaron Rodgers and or Matt Stafford and or Trevor Lawrence, baby. Let's go.
And or.
All right, well, that's been this week's episode of First and Goal. Thanks for being on, guys. Enjoyed having you. And until next time, this was First and Goal.
All right. Thanks, Bomber.
Thanks for listening to First and Goal. Be sure to check out Mad Bomber TV on Twitch and YouTube for the latest from the SML. And we'll see you next time on First and Goal.